Hello and welcome to Ferri Unfiltered. I have an amazing guest on today. That amazing, like I do with all my guests, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So here you are.
Good. I'm Kat from You're Alright, which is an Instagram blog. And I thank you for having me on your podcast, Chris.
Oh no, thanking you. I'm well chuffed to get you on, and it's good that people get to see the women behind all these amazing images. It's
It's not
just
good in lockdown when you look like shit and you haven't been to the hairdressers or you don't have a tan on.
it's fine. It's fine. See, the future's a ring light. Have you got a ring light?
I need to get one that you got on Amazon, sort that out.
Yeah, get a ring light. Like, I've got like my mate's got a production company, so he told me to get an actual light, which helps. But I got a ring light. Unbelievable. Seeing I'm doing all my stuff in my forum, I'm just like glowing. It's great.
I need
It's
them both.
amazing. I'm like, I look at a couple of years younger. I don't know what age you think I am, but I do look a couple of years younger than what I am. But, so anyway, let's just dive into this. Then this page has just went mental. It's now at what 18,000 followers.
Aye.
Aye. What I mean, you've obviously been in podcasts before, and I'm not going to hit you with all the same questions, but I'm going to hit you with some. Like, I mean, how did it start?
I've always done things, sort of creative things, bits and pieces and stuff like that over the years. And then I've mentioned again before, like I've had anxiety and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And about like the end of 2018 was just a really, really shit. The whole of 2018 was like a really, really shit year. But by the end of it, I could see like how the anxiety had really was coming back in and stuff. And I didn't want it to get hold of me. And for years of dealing with it and like different things and speaking to different people, I know that like being creative or having some kind of creative outlet helps me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just start like I always say drawing, and then I go like that. I can't call that drawing. I don't class that as drawing. It's this wee doodle things, right? It's childlike drawings, and I would do that, and then I would just write stuff. So obviously, if you've seen the captions, sometimes it's just
I
like
love them.
I just go off on a tangent. But it would make me feel better, and then again, like thinking to myself at that time, like what's you should really try and like face any fears that you have if you think that you're ready to be able to face them. And at that time I did, and I was like, I feel so shit, other people must feel shit. The scariest thing would be to share some of this stuff and other people see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you sit and you overthink everything and you're like, what if they judge me? What if they think I'm a weirdo? What if this? And then you realise it's people you don't know. Why do you even give a fuck? Like, why do you care? And then I don't know, to be honest, I never really thought about it too much for somebody who is a classic overthinker. I was like, hey, that would be terrifying. Boof, next minute I just set up the Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And just kind of went like that really until like a few months later when it kind of I get some traction or whatever. And I noticed people I knew had started following it, and I was kind of a shit myself. So I was like, they don't know that's me. And oh no. And I was dead worried about the people that did know me seeing it and thinking, what are you doing? Like, what are you up to? But inevitably, when it started out as something kind of a selfish, as like a self-coping strategy, turned into something that I think has helped other people because I always say we're a team around here and we've built like this wee yellow community or whatever, but there's a lot of conversations that take place on the page that everybody could see, but there's a lot behind the scenes as well in the DMs where I see that people are maybe accessing help, looking for services. Maybe they've came to me to ask where to go, and I don't have all the answers, but if I could help somebody or point them in the right
Uh-huh.
direction, I certainly would. And I think that in itself has been a wee bit of word of mouth because other people would then get in touch and be like, my friend talked to you and she said that you were able to da 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 da. And it might even just be something like copying and pasting a phone number or for a local service like that I've found on Google or something like that. But for some reason, people find it easier to take that through You're Alright sometimes than maybe going away and looking for it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So full circle, it started off as me being like, oh shit, I'm so scared, what can I do to make myself feel better? And then noticing that other people took something from it, which was brilliant. And it's been great, I suppose. Like,
I think it's brilliant. I love your page because it's very relatable. And the other thing I love about it is I feel with your posts they come at the right time, like that. Like I messaged you the other day, like I'd literally put a workout on my online coaching, and it was called Isa, and then you posted Isa, and I was like, that is insane. But I enjoy just following it because it's, and I like the times you post it because it's nice. Because when you wake up in the morning, you've always got this wee post, and you're like, I stayed nice. Yeah. And I think I think it's great, and I think it is art. Art, obviously, what you take from it, but like it's like Billy Connolly had, like he was doing, like you said, like I was just doing wee doodles, and then all of a sudden he's now doing his art, and it's great. You've got like Noel Fielding, I follow him, and he's like, I just started doing wee doodles, and now he's got like I think he's got like an exhibition. It's like it's insane, but it's just like people interpret it what they want from it. But I think it's brilliant. Well done. Well done.
Thanks.
Good. I like what you've said, but you've got like a wee community. It's really nice. And are you finding it's just growing and growing then, and like more people are getting involved with it?
Definitely. I always find the whole thing awkward. Like if it's somebody new that's came and maybe like a new follower or whatever, and they'll send them a message and they say something like, well, there was somebody the other day and they referred to themselves as a fan, right? Now, Chris, I can't tell you the level of cringe, right, that I go to. Like, it's unbelievable. I was like, shut up. I was like, there's no such thing as fans. I was like, we can't even talk if you're going to keep that chat up. No, no fans. But like, so is it like, what would I be then, a groupie? And I was like, not a fucking groupie. Like, I wish I was a rock star, but that is no the case. I was just like, no. I said, look, everybody's just pals in here. Everybody's the same. I was like, it's no like a thing. Like, if you want to talk, whatever it is you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Like, so I think when I think about the community thing, that's always like something that I try to make clear. Like, because people will be like, oh, thanks for messaging back, or I didn't expect to hear from you, and I'm like, that's really shitty if there's people out there that you've went to for help or whatever, and like, excuse me, they've read your message and they haven't replied to it. And I know people are busy, right? I know people are busy, but I think it's courteous, obviously, to even say to somebody, look, I'm so busy now, like, you're on my list, you're on my radar, I will get back to you. Just for a wee bit of acknowledgement. So it blows my mind then when people kind of go down that route, and I'm like, no, this is a community, and in my mind it's just like a virtual scheme where everybody just looks out for each other. And it's no anything. It's very like informal, if you like.
Yes.
And maybe know what some people expect.
But you're very approachable, but like that's the thing. The minute you start talking to you, you've got a very, very like approachable like way about you. Like I could sit and just have a chat away with you. But it is obviously like you're saying, like if somebody's like messaging and they're getting like that back, they'll be like, "Oh, she's sound." Do you know what I mean? Whereas if they're getting it back, it's very like corporate. Like, this is Boz. I don't want to be anywhere near this. That's what I'm like with people though. Like seeing people write back to me, and I talk to people the way I talk, and that's the thing. And you could be mailing somebody that's like a director of a business, but I'll change it a wee bit, but like I won't change it completely. And it's just like if you don't like me for who I am, then that's just
definitely.
I mean,
I think that's massively important. Like I've done a few things. Like I think in the first time like I'd had the account or whatever, and I was looking at Mental Health Week. And I was thinking about everybody's always saying in general, like how hard it is for people to just talk and open up, but yet how easy that sounds. And I was looking at like communication where you're talking, but you're not physically talking. So I was like, came up with this thing, and I'm like, I'll do like a slide in the DMs thing where people talk about mental health, but they're not actually physically talking about it. It's not a face-to-face thing. It's quick messages back and forth. And there was a few people that I knew of that were quite popular or whatever that other people knew of that I asked if they would do it. And I remember after it, people going like that to me, what did you say? But what did you put in the message to get them to do that or whatever? And I was like, it made me think about it. And I'm like, I says there was no tact whatsoever. I was like, look, I'm doing this. I really want you to do it right, and see if you don't ask, you don't get. So I'm going to do it next week if you want to do it. And people were like, aye, cool. And other people were like, oh, but did you not see, like, you know, this, that, and then, and other people were saying to me, oh, there's like a way you ask for things and all that. And I'm like, there's no really. I mean, there is if it's personal to you, but it's no personal to me. You send like a 3-part email and like an RSVP slip and like we'll do whatever. Like, no, I'm like, do you want to do this? I or not? Like, it's not going to. I'm not going to take it personally if somebody says no. Like, it's fine.
Aye, that's brilliant. It's a brilliant attitude. I remember, see what you said, like you just ask and you don't get. I'd really respect Dodie Beer, and I got to meet Dodie Beer. We were doing a podcast, used to have a podcast before this one, with my friend Stephen, and we went out to his house, we went out to his farm, and I'd fanboyed it up. I'd bought a Dodie Beer top. Do you know what I mean? And I went and we sat there and we speaking, and he kept talking, and he said that he went, you don't ask, you don't get in life, guys. So just always do that. And then I was sitting there and I went, oh, Dodie, I says, no, you say you don't ask, you don't get. And he went, aye. And I says, go and do us a favour. And he's like, what? And I whacked out a pen. I was like, going to sign my top, right? And he's like, well, all right then. I mean, and he was brilliant. And it was great for a guy that had motor neurons. He was sitting there and he was having a laugh. He'd totally taken the piss at me when I was I get the piss ripped at me in Dodie Beer's kitchen because you shaved your chest. I was like, maybe. Right? And now I don't shave my chest after Dodie Beer slagged me. And he signed my top, and it was amazing because it was like, you're right. I just spoke to him like the way I would talk to him, and so did my friend Stephen. It was really, really good. But I think it's great what you're doing, and it's like I love you're also doing like your hoodies and all that stuff as well, because I think the colours, yellow is a happy colour at the end of the day. I mean, it's like it seems to just be going crazy. It's just like, where are you? Like, where is your sort of community based? Obviously, you're from Glasgow, aren't you? Aye. Is it all now going everywhere then?
I pretty much like I know how you can like check all that kind of a thing on Instagram and stuff like that, but to be honest, like I don't look at that often. But sometimes like you'll come across it or whatever. So most people I think like are Glasgow based, and then you've got like, and then I think second is like Motherwell or North Lanarkshire, like Motherwell, Wishaw, whatever that kind. And then it's like obviously a few different places, but like there's people in America and Canada and Australia, which
Look at that.
It's mental. Like you get a wee thing and it's like somebody's ordered a hoodie, and I look at the address and I'm like somebody was getting ordered hoodies and they were going to Arizona, and I'm like, that has to be an expat. I was like, there's no way there's some American sitting in Arizona like that. I need a You're Right hoodie. Like you've no idea what we're chatting about here. Like there's no way. So I don't know if it's probably expats or whatever, but it's good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's great that it's just grown arms and legs. I mean, have you got any ideas what you want to do? Like, see with your page, like, see after lockdown, is there anything you maybe like quite fancy branching out into with You're All Right, or like, is there any other routes that you maybe want to take this blog and this page? Have you got any ideas up your sleeve?
Oh my God, I want to have a massive party, Chris. Like, I want to get a warehouse and just fill it. And obviously the theme's yellow. And everybody comes and we don't need to social distance, so we can all just have the best time ever. And maybe, I don't know, it's a £5 a ticket and all that money goes to charity. Like, that's something that's reoccurring. I think about that all the time. Like, how good would it be to just be able to do something like that? And then in the same respect, just look at other fundraising things where when we're knowing this kind of a shit show, people could come together. So
yes,
big group walks, or like, I don't know, like proper, like, I don't know, Monroe challenges where again you can all kind of a mix and mingle, that sort of a thing. Other than that, I don't know, I'm a Pisces, so I've got a very over imaginative mind, so I've probably thought about this going down every single avenue you could imagine, wrote a couple of notes beside each possibility, and then left the notebook for a week, and then went back with different ideas and wrote that in another page. And I'm a terrible procrastinator. Like, it's something I'm consciously and constantly working on, to be like that. Just do it, just get it done. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think that's been a massive part of the enjoyment of working on You're All Right and doing all the stuff with it and all that, is that there wasn't a goal in sight originally. So sometimes you'll have wee mini goals like that, like, oh, we wanted to do Ben Nevis last year, so that to me was a wee mini goal. We'll get that, we'll do that, blah blah blah. But in terms of where to take it or anything like that, no, I kind of just go with the flow. It's probably people listening like, oh my
God. No, I think that's really good though. Like, it's growing naturally. Like your page though, it's growing naturally. I think it's brilliant. And like you're saying, you're obviously involved with charities. You work a lot with Chrissy's House.
I like to raise awareness for Chrissy's house.
We worked with Chrissy's house. We've got our charity tops, by the way, in case you're wondering why is he looking. There's nobody with me. But, like, we did it in, I'm just double checking, 2019. We worked with Chrissy's house, and they're brilliant. They're such a nice charity, and I just think there's not enough out there for that. I mean, I'm reading a cracking book now. Is that cracking? I forgot the name. Wait, I'll tell you. But it is very, very good, and I haven't put it down. That just shows you I've not put it down, and I can't even mind the name of it. Man Down, and it's really good, and it talks about obviously mental health, males not opening up, not just talking about their emotions, bottling everything up, and it was giving you percentages like suicide rates, things like that, and it's frightening. And I always remember, again, previous podcast, we went to Annie from Chrissy's house. We went there and we met her, and it was the day one of the boys just committed suicide, and you're just sitting there going, my God, like, you realised how much work they've been doing with them, and it's just sometimes it's out of their control, and it's a bit. I take my hat off to them, because I'm like, that is a hard job. A really hard job.
I don't think it's something that you must ever be able to switch off with. Like, I think if you've been affected by suicide and you've lost somebody, the grief aspect's always going to be there. You're always going to think about them in that sense. But when that's your, like, I mean, they're a 24-hour crisis centre, so that's constant. Like, you know, there's always people needing help, always people just at that brink. And unfortunately, people that just can't cope and go on, and it must be a lot to sit with that, I think, as well, like, for them.
Oh, definitely. It's just, you realise all the services they're doing, so it's just wish they could get more funding. And we deal with a lot of the charities, so we're working with, we did Plank or Plonk, which was
I've seen that.
Plank or Plonk. It was really good. So they all did it, and that's what we did. We did that as like our wee community, and that's what we all did, that to raise money for the Beatson. And you realise, like, I work with Bill Cancer UK as well, and you realise with all these charities, there's like no fundraisers can happen. Like, we literally did a 24-hour fitness challenge, and the following week was lockdown, and you're just sitting there going, like, in one 24 hours we raised £11,000, and then
that's amazing.
I was sitting bubbling, man, because I couldn't even believe it. I had £2,000 as a target. And I was like, and then my mate wrote up in the wall, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. And you're just like, this is insane. But you're just realised through the whole pandemic, like, how much these charities have been affected. And it's great that, like, people like yourself got a great social media presence, are like trying to raise awareness for things. Like, I know Bungie, like Chris Bungard, does a lot with them as well, and it's great to see, like, people like pushing them forward, so people still realise they're there.
I mean, I think, like, I don't know, I think that in terms of, like, social media in general, and I don't know if it's like a generation thing. Like, I'm in my 30s, so I know if there's people getting into, like, social media now, like, there is a totally different take on it. Like, there's jobs available for people through social media that wouldn't have been available when I was, like, a late teenager or in my 20s or whatever. So, and there's obviously money to be made through social media, and that's why people do it, and I think that's great. But I just think, like, a social aspect and a moral aspect as well, like, if you do any things, absolutely, but what do you really care about? Like, what makes a difference to you? And think about the amount of people that might see something that you mention. And I mean, like, there's 18,000 followers or whatever on you, all right, that is a lot, right? But it's probably a drop in the ocean compared to some other people. So when you see bigger people or more popular people, or however you want to word it, I don't know, use their social platforms or whatever for a good cause or to raise awareness about stuff, I love it, because I think they're obviously passionate about it. They've got nothing to lose, and there's so many people that are going to get involved in whatever it is, just because you posted about it, just because you made a video about it or something like that, which is brilliant.
I think so as well, and it's like you said, using it for the right reasons, and you've got, like, genuine. We're not going to call them fans, because you weren't letting them call them fans. But you've got genuine, real followers. It's kind of into it, I know. What would you say? But like
Pals?
Your real pals. Do you know what I love about it as well? Like, so, like, the other week I had Leanne on, and Leanne's dogs have got, I know Leanne comes to the gym, and her dogs have got 32,000 followers on Instagram, and that's what we were talking about. We talked about, like, the women behind this page, because obviously the dogs don't take their pictures. If they did, it'd been Britain's Got Talent. But like, that's the thing, and you're just like, how do you find it? Like, because I was asking her about it, like, obviously she put a post on and it goes amazing, but nobody knows it's her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same with you. Like, you put that picture on, it's not necessarily you. Do you know what I mean? It's that image. And it's like, do you have, so what we spoke about the other week is if you put a post on, you think, this is an absolute belter. Like, I really like this one. And then you put it on, and then you go, oh, that didn't do as well as I thought, compared to that one that took me 5 seconds to do. And that's sort of, do you ever have that where you go, well, that actually didn't do as well as I thought?
I don't know. I don't know, because I never look at it like that. Because again, like at the very beginning, there was like a point where there was like 20 people following. I always say that's right, but it's true. Like there was 20 people following, and I was terrified. I couldn't believe 20 people were looking at what I was writing about or posting pictures about. I'm like, oh my god, it's 20 people. 20 people are judging me. This is so crazy. And then I don't know at what point you really think about that. Obviously, you gain confidence and it gains traction or whatever, so you don't really think about it. But I think that in the same respect as posts, like people have said that to me before as well. Like some post, I posted something and it was really great and it got like a pure fraction of likes, and yeah, I posted this or whatever, and like I got all these likes or whatever, and I'm like, I just don't think about it like that, because whether it's 20 likes or 200 likes, like I'm scared the same level. So I'm like, oh god, people looked at that or whatever. Not really. Sometimes though, like I'm a pure Marvel geek, so sometimes if I make any reference to Marvel things.
Oh, this is, look, I told you we'd go on a different tangent there. We are off. You keep telling your story, go and tell me.
So sometimes if I do anything to do with like superheroes or anything like that, in my mind, I'm absolutely buzzing about it. Like I'm like, oh, like I did Thanos, the Infinity Stones thing.
Oh, yeah.
That springs to mind. And I loved that. I was like, I'm going to print that up. I love that. I was like, and I was away with it. And I don't know, I suppose like, that's not everybody's thing. A lot of people don't really care. I mean, I don't understand why, but a lot of people
I don't understand
care
these
about
people.
Superheroes. So
these people, there's something wrong with them if they don't like superhero. So you're more Marvel than DC?
Aye, I think so.
Right.
Guardians of I mean, I love everything equally, but I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, nice.
Group obsessed. So
who's your favourite?
In Guardians of the Galaxy.
And we'll just go with the whole Marvel universe for me as well.
Oh my god. I think that's an unfair question. Like I'll favour Groot, but I couldn't possibly like really pick somebody. But I've got a soft spot for Groot, especially with Baby Groot. So.
Oh, Baby Groot. Yeah. I know it's a very, very hard one. I was obsessed with Deadpool like for years and years, obsessed with Deadpool, and then obviously it became really big, and everyone's like, oh, you just like him because he's, and I'm like, no, hold on a minute here, I liked him before Ryan Reynolds. I mean, like I was the one that was raging in the Wolverine film, shouting at Hugh Jackman because of the shitty portrayal that Ryan Reynolds had to do, and everybody's like, I hate you to say that a bit far, and I'm like, no, but I know that's good, that's class. I love Marvel. I love just the whole like drawings. I've got like how to draw Marvel characters, and it's like how you sketch them positions. Well, you into art and all that then? This is like a thing we can spiral off to. It was just like, how do you do your drawings? Like, do you draw them on an iPad? Do you draw them in your hand drawing, then upload? I don't know. What do you do?
At the beginning, I used to draw them in like a notepad thing and then write whatever beside it, because that was before I was ever going to put anything on Instagram. But then when I thought about putting them on Instagram and stuff like that, I looked into stuff and have an iPad, so people that are professional illustrators or whatever were using like Procreate and like things like that. Obviously, you get your Apple Pen and it's like having a blank bit of paper, except you're drawing it on your iPad. So I just did it like that, really. Took it to there.
Nice.
Again, like I don't know. I look at them. There's literally sometimes if I scroll through my page, I'm like, there's nothing of any consent. You can tell the ones that have pure sat, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting that line perfect. Oh, I'm doing this, whatever. And the other ones that are a shit show, but I'm happy with them equally. But I'm like, let's say that's a mess. I'm posting that, and it's like, oh, I don't know. Right. It must just depend on my mood at the time.
No, I'll be looking out for all your Marvel ones now. This is the thing. I'll be looking out for all of them. I know I'm obsessed with Marvel. I'm a big geek, an absolute geek. I had to actually take stuff down for the gym because I was like, I actually look like a loser because I'm just People think it's
I'm
just like
sitting with my phone here, and it's the Awesome Mix Volume 2 phone case of Guardians of the Galaxy.
The soundtrack in Guardians of the Galaxy is phenomenal. It's so
Aye.
good. My wee girl's 4 and loves it. Like, she actually wants it on, and my wife came in, Laura's like, you're actually having a laugh. Like, everyone's usually frozen a Disney princess, and she's like, she's watching Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, aye. And she's like, loving the tunes and that Baby Groot. She's obsessed with Baby Groot. And I'm like, yes, winning.
Winning,
See,
definitely winning.
yeah, I am loving this chat. There we go. It was a conversation I did not expect to have. I did not expect to have that. So what we can do is, you're obviously a busy lady, so we will not keep you too long. But what we'll do is we'll branch out into our next couple of questions.
Mhm.
So what I like to do is with everybody is have these random chats because everybody has their own spin in this, right? This could be the point where before it, you're already really in my good books here with your Marvel chat. What we're going to do is we're going to start now. It's also called Ferri Unfiltered. The whole idea was that you'd come here, or I'd come to you, I'd bring you a coffee, and then you'd have a coffee. Now, you maybe not drink a coffee, but if I had to get you a hot beverage, as I've learned to say, what would I be buying you?
A tea with soya milk.
Oh,
Mhm.
how hippie of you.
I
Right,
know.
that's fine. I'll give you that. That's cool, right? So we'll get you that. Right, so after that, what we're going to do is go sit down and we're going to get something to eat. So we're going to go for a pizza, right?
Mhm.
Hopefully you like pizza.
I love pizza.
Well, again, you're in my good books. Now, you are just now, what are your toppings on your pizza?
Ooh, I kind of like everything, but I would pick like maybe, I don't know, like a spicy chicken thing probably. Some sort of
Right.
something a bit of a kick to it. I like spicy stuff.
Would it be like a spicy chicken pizza, like out of like a takeaway, or would it be? Come on, you need to describe this better here. You're just going pure. Come on,
I
you need to get more
suppose
detail.
if it was a takeaway pizza, some kind of a spicy chicken, salt and chili chicken pizza type thing,
Right.
whatever, I'd be up for that. However, this actually is quite good because I have to plug my pal's pizza shop, Canotto Pizza Glasgow.
What one
And
is it?
Canotto Pizza, it's in the south side. But
Oh,
honestly, even if she wasn't my friend, right, her and her husband, I would still plug them anyhow. The pizza is amazing. That I can't. I was going to attempt to describe it there, but I know I won't get it right, and they'll be like, "Cat, shut up! That's not what we do." So you should just go and look it up. But you can get obviously like full pizzas or slices in there, and they are so good. Like just like the freshest, authentic ingredients. So I suppose for like an authentic experience for pizza, I would choose them. When I'm being a shit and I'm cheating on them with a takeaway pizza, it would be a spicy chili chicken thing.
that's cool. You're fine. You're safe. I still like you. Because see if you said pineapple or ham and pineapple, I just probably would have ended the chat right here and then. And people were like, why did the podcast cut off so quickly? I was like, because that's why. I mean,
Like
so
I'd eat that, but I don't understand why people want that when you look at all the other options. I'm like, why is that what you've went for?
that's what
Like,
I think. It's like,
look what else you could get. Like,
somebody posted the other day, they were like, oh, that looks good. And it was pineapple and banana pizza. I was
oh
like,
no,
away you go.
banana.
Aye. Do you know what?
Mm.
These people are monsters. Do you know what? They're serial killers. That's what I believe. If you put that on a pizza, you're a serial killer. Right? I mean, so it's one of them. Right. So we'll go into our next bit. So you have everybody is sitting at the table. You have soy teas.
I need to clarify, right? The reason for that is I don't like coffee. I've tried to drink different types of coffee or whatever over the years, right? But I just don't like it. So I have tea, but I've got a lactose allergy. So that's why I have soya. So I want it to be because I'm this airy, like hippie vibe person. It's because I'll get a dodgy belly if I have cow's milk. So, you know.
I can't say I'm the same. I can't take dairy. Like I can't take dairy. That's why like, if I go and I have like an oat milk cappuccino and I'm like one of them in the queue and I'm like, oh, it's not for me, by the way, it's for but no, that's fair enough. I can't slag you, fair enough. But you're all sitting with your teas and you're all sitting with that, right? If you've got 5 people, right, now they're going to come to your dinner party, they could be dead or alive. Now, I'd like to clarify they're not physically dead, so they're not coming back as zombies. They're coming back like Marty McFly from Back to the Future, bringing them there to you, right? Who would your 5 people be? Now, they can be MD at all.
This is really hard. I was thinking about this and I was probably overthinking it to the point where I was like, oh, I can't think of anybody. So I was like,
as long as it's not like Janice for Scotland that nobody knows, like don't have something like that. Like have something that people would actually know.
God, I would do it. I would have who would I have? I would have Cher, because I love Cher. Like, just love Cher. I don't
Because she's
think
a
that needs an
vampire.
explanation or an excuse, right? I think everybody should love Cher. She's Cher.
Well, I mean,
yes. Come on there. Come on.
well, I will give her. Do you believe in a thing called love? Is very good. I will give her that. But so, she is a vampire as well, though.
Clearly, she looks great. Right, let's think. I'd have Cher.
Right.
I would have. Who else would I have? I'd have Chuck Liddell, because he's just like an icon.
Oh, is that it? Oh.
No, it made me think, like, I seen him one time in America and I was too scared to go and talk to him, and he was doing like a signing thing. They had like 3 people that used to be in the UFC or whatever,
Right.
and they were doing a signing thing, and I was just casually walking by trying to build up the guts or whatever, but I didn't happen. So.
You shut up.
Shut up, big time.
Shut up, mate.
Like him. So I'd have Cher, Chuck Liddell. Who else would I have? I'd have Tom Hardy, just because I think he's probably really intellectual. Like, I think we would have some good conversations, me and Tom.
Yeah, okay.
Aye,
That's
definitely.
what you call it. That's fine. Fair enough.
For the same reasons, I would have Jackie McNamara, because I think, again, the chat would just be next level. So, you know.
I've never had anybody choose Jackie McNamara on this.
I think that's terrible.
Really?
I'm disgusted that he wasn't my first name that I picked out. That should have absolutely been my first name. Devastated that I missed that till he was 4. So at this point, we're sitting and there's Cher, there's Chuck Liddell,
okay,
Tom Hardy, and Jackie McNamara.
Oh, one more.
Pick another female to level it up a wee bit, eh? Who else would I have? Nicola Sturgeon, just because I'd like to.
Really?
Like that chat. Aye. I can't think of anybody else, but also just because I have a few things I'd like to get off my chest, and I'd like to hear what she has to say. So,
right, Nicola, we're going to have a chat. Put your tea down with your soy milk. I mean, no, that's fair enough. I'd like to have a bloody chat with her as well. Let her own my bloody gym. I mean, but no, that's fair enough. That's a good wee choice. A very mixed choice, though. Very mixed.
Think of the conversations, you know.
Do you know what I'd get Tom Hardy to read me a story.
Oh, he did bedtime stories, did he?
Honestly, man. Even I was sitting there going,
love you.
Fair enough. I mean, I like you, mate. No, that's fair. Maybe we should get Jackie McNamara to read a story. What do he'd be like?
I think we should. Let's try and organise that, right?
Jackie McNamara appears in BBC bedtime stories. People are like, what is happening here?
Like, there's one viewer. I'm sitting there like,
you're sitting just totally entranced.
Shh, everybody, shh, Jackie's talking.
Oh, right, well, let's move on to books now then, right? So I usually ask people if they can give me books of their choices. Now, it can go books, or to be fair, we've had a lot of people that are into their music, so you could do a mixture. I feel we should open this up. So you could do, like, if you want to do a couple of books, a couple of albums that you maybe feel that have helped you in a way, or it doesn't necessarily have helped you. It could be one of the ones you go, do you know what? I just really enjoyed it, and it could be about serial killers. It's up to you. I mean, it's the whole idea. It just gives people during this time something to read, maybe something to pick up, and go from there. So what we're going to go with?
This is maybe a wee bit controversial then, right? Because I saw that question. I'm looking at my iPad now to make sure I get it right. But I was thinking, like, this week is Children's Mental Health Week. So, like, I work with kids, and I was thinking, like, the 5 books, if there's anybody listening that might like to introduce some social and emotional learning at home during this lockdown thing, because I think everybody could benefit from that, would be books that you could do with your kids.
I
books
like this.
Are, like, really, really beneficial. So, there's tons of them, right? I was trying to narrow it down to 5, so I'm like, okay, what's what? So there's one called Kindness is My Superpower. So that's kind of a self-explanatory, all about just teaching kids what kindness looks like, how to be kind, and how to notice it in your everyday life. There's also one, I always get the name of it wrong, so I'm trying to look for it before I get that one. There's one called The Big Bag of Worries. Sometimes it's called The Huge Bag of Worries as well. And that's a great story for just, like, visually showing kids, like, when you're worried about something, it's like, and it's adults as well, it's like there's this dark cloud that just follows you everywhere. But if you take it bit by bit, you acknowledge it or whatever, or when you're ready to acknowledge it, tackle it head on, kind of a thing, that you'll, like, it's better. Obviously, you'll break it down and it's not as bad as what you think it will be. There's that. The rainbow fish is just one of my personal favourites
Oh,
because kids can be cruel with they don't mean it, but they can be cruel to each other.
definitely.
So when you read the rainbow fish, it's about friendship essentially and about doing something for somebody else. So that's a really good one. There is, what was the one I was thinking about? Oh, have you filled a bucket today? Usually I call it bucket fillers, but it's called have you filled a bucket today?
Right.
And kids love it because again, there's that visual aspect you can bring in where they have like a wee bucket, and every time they do something that helps somebody else or that's selfless or that's kind, they would get like a wee thing, whatever it is, and they put it in their bucket. So
I love
you know what it's
this.
like. Transportation's great. They just walk about all day, especially young kids filling up buckets. So if it's only with good stuff, you're teaching them about kindness and stuff. So it's really good. What's the other one? There is just so many. There's a book called Feelings, Inside My Heart and Inside My Mind, I think is the subtitle. But again, it's like helps kids recognise what their feelings are and name them. So I'm a massive, like in terms of mental health, a massive advocate for like early intervention. So we have a lot of broken adults and stuff like that, but you can't help but think if there was an earlier intervention at some point in their life, if they were a child that came through trauma or they had some kind of vulnerability, or anybody can become vulnerable at any time, obviously, but if they had that early intervention there to help them name their feelings, label their feelings, realise what they are, and then work through them, they might not be in the place that a lot of people are in. So my 5 books for this question, I was like, I'm going to go down an early intervention route.
And I love this. This is see, things happen for a reason, Kat. This is amazing because I love this. I'm going to buy all of them, by the way. I'm not going to lie, but so see what you're talking about, like early years and getting kids and like understand things. So I've obviously got 2 daughters. Everyone's a bit mental now, and like the whole idea, I was doing a spin-off from this podcast, and it was called, obviously my surname, Fairy Tales, right? And what I was going to do was read kids' books, but they had like an underlying meaning behind them. And thank you so much. These are amazing. But I am buzzing to get these. I love stories like this. I love all ones that have got wee meanings behind them, because kids are so, I mean, they don't know how to describe their emotions, especially now, because they're not at nursery or primary school. So it's like the parents are sort of trying to deal with them. They're like, I don't know what's happening. And you're like, well, it's like they're just trying to vent. So, this is amazing. So that's what you do, sort of like a day job. So you work with kids then? Oh, that's brilliant.
I mean, it's great. It's great. It is though. No, I love it. I do love it. But I just think a lot of this, even if you're on Amazon and you type in like social and emotional books for kids, social and emotional learning for kids or whatever, there's a ton of stuff that will come up. And there's a lot of like popular ones, like that Rainbow Fish I named there. It's probably a really popular book for kids in terms of like nurseries or schools using it as like a project book, because it just grows arms and legs and stuff. But there's so much out there.
I love it. Like I read my girls' books every night before they go to bed, and it's just something I love doing. But this is pure genius. I'm going to need to sit in, save this, go back through it, record it, record this. I mean, write everything down and get all the books done. But this is the great thing about it. It's like a total different spin, because every time you've got somebody on, they've got different books, and it's I think it's really inspiring to like get ideas like that. This is class, mate. Thank you so much. And you've got the most random guests. Like, see if anybody else gets Jackie McNamara, it's shite now. Like you've nailed it. Jackie's at your table now.
I want them to be excluded. They're not allowed them. He's at my dinner party, right? Aye. So you can't go to anybody else's. Like.
That's it. He's mine.
That's it. He's just mine.
This is the thing. It's like I think that whole generation of SL team were brilliant. I was bidding for a top the other day and I lost out on it. I was just raging. And it was like all these sort of type of players. You were like, they're great because people like you, they want the new season. I was like, no, I'm all right. But that's what we started doing. We started collecting like football tops in the gym, and I've got like rugby tops and stuff like that. I always think it's good. We always try to support the local community, so we've obviously got a Motherwell top up, but there's a lot of Rangers and Celtic fans out there. You know what I mean, apparently a lot of Celtic fans in the gym, which I just realised. So no, that is great. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
No, thank you for having me. It's been good.
It's been brilliant. I am proper loving this. I'm off to now to go on Amazon and get all these books. Laura will be like, what? She was like, what the hell is happening here? And I'm like, ping, ping, ping. But no, thanks very much. I can't wait to get this out and keep doing what you're doing because it's class, mate.
Thanks, Chris. You as well.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.